Welcome back, Truth Seeker. In the headlines today, the Supreme Court making 6 key rulings on 6 cases on 6 date numerology. Again, you don't think your federal government's operating by numerology? When was the last time you heard about the Supreme Court making 6 decisions? That's a lot. And today's date numerology is 6. And it's interesting because the 6th planet, Saturn, and Saturn's associated with color black and judgment and time. And you have this special ritual in time. You know what I mean? The Supreme Court justices wear black. Again, all this stuff's occult, and it goes over almost everyone's head because they've never been educated on these matters. For anyone who thinks, oh, what do I need to know about the occult? Your nation was founded by the occult, and it's still run by the occult. That's why you want to learn about it, so you can see how they're really operating. And speaking of the occult, of course, Kabbalah is very important to the occult, and that's where this whole practice of coding numbers into words comes from. And today, the day of this ruling, Friday, June 27th, is the day leaving 187 days left in the year. And remember, in Gematria, Washington, D.C. equals 187, as does George Washington, as does Society of Jesus. That's the Jesuits who set up camp in D.C. before the feds went there. And don't forget, when George Washington died, he died with a Jesuit priest at his side. Unexpectedly, he died. And he died on December 14th. And if you spell out December 14th, it equals 187. If you write out 1214 as words, spell it out 12, spell out 14, like December 14th, it equals 187. 187 associated with homicide. Can you think of some things that happened on 1214 that resulted in death? Skinny kid, looked like a bad Photoshop. They arrested his brother. The two brothers never had a photo together. You never saw any evidence of anything. You just got this big story and then a bunch of politicians trying to undermine gun laws. And then years later, Sandy Lindsay got the first shot on 1214. A lot of people now have myocarditis and turbo cancer and are 6 feet under. Don't forget the Society of Jesus did the simulation for the pokey dokes and all of it with Event 201. But yeah, just coming back to the chump who put 3 out of the 9 Supreme Court justices on the bench in his first term. His first was Neil McGill Gorsuch, whose name is also 187. And the other thing interesting about today, the day of these 6 decisions, is the date numerology. There's paths, right? So one of the paths is June 27, 2025. 6 plus 27 plus 20 plus 25 is 78. 78 is 7 plus 8 is 15. 15 is 1 plus 5 is 6. But 78 goes with the cards in the tarot deck. And what are the top cards that trump all the other cards? They're literally called trump cards. The top cards in the tarot deck are trump cards. And Trump retook office at 78, like we told you he would 4 years in advance. Remember when Hollywood last year put out that horror movie Tarot, and I told you how it was all synced to the election? Go back and watch that video on that. But again, one of the decisions today is that lesser judges, you see the headline, Supreme Court limits ability of judges to stop Trump. So these lower circuit courts, they can't overrule Trump anymore now that the Supreme Court had their say. And, so much for the 3 branches of government. Hey, let's just run it all out of the Oval Office. Executive order, executive order, executive order. If the Supreme Court doesn't go against any of this, sorry, lower level courts, Daddy Trump, he's getting to get his way. And don't forget, if you look into the education of these Supreme Court members, almost every last one of them is Catholic and Jesuit educated. Again, the Society of Jesus is the military order of the Catholic Church. It's a reminder that Trump, when the last Pope was alive, the first Jesuit, Pope Francis, their birthdays were a span of 187 days apart. Or Pope Francis equals 58. Trump won the 58th election after announcing from the 58-story Trump Tower the first time. And don't forget, that year the convention in Cleveland, before Trump came back as the first split-term president since Grover Cleveland, but that year the convention began on the 18th of July, 187 days from Inauguration Day. Again, this 187 number, super special. But with regards to the whole 78 thing, the current superior general leader of the Jesuits, he took his throne October 14th, 2016, just before Trump got selected. And that's the day leaving, 78 days left in the year. Today's the 228th day of his age, like United States of America equals 228. And this is a big deal for our country, giving more power to the orange clown. Jesuit educated, went to Fordham in New York. Yeah. 187. It's not just about homicide. So yeah, that's the quick update. I'll be live streaming later today, you guys. Probably about noon Pacific, 3 Eastern. That's in about 40 minutes from now. So if you don't get a notification, just come on the channel. Click the live tab. It should be going. Till next time, Truth Seeker.